So now we're going to talk about investments and financing, discounting cash flow, capital calculations. Very interesting. Whenever you make a project or strategy uh, going over several years, you need to compare payments in different time of period. And we all know that 1,000 today is more value than 1,000 you receive in 10 years' time. So that's why we have to use these formulas that I'm going to tell you about. So discounting cash flow is about knowing and comparing the value of payments over different time. And you can do that in many ways. The most common one is, I think, probably the net present value. Very easy to understand and calculating backwards all the future payments, changing their value to a present value. And in that way, you can say, what's in it for me today? So that's something that you can understand. So this is the first one here. Be aware that Excel has different formulas for different options that you want to know. This first video here, we will talk about the net present value or present value. Over here I have the Danish formulas as a special service to the Danish students, because we will need to look up the formulas here in Excel, and using now the English formula, but it works exactly the same way, but it's used by when it's used by the Danish formula. So, but we'll do it the English way this today. Now, this first video here is about the net present value, and when can we benefit from this formula? Well, of course, in number cases, when we have a long-term project or strategy, we would like to know what is the net present value of all the future payments. And please be aware that I say payments because it is cash flow. So we talk about incoming and outgoing cash flow. So sometimes, when we talk about the profit and loss account, we all know that perhaps we haven't received the cash yet, even though that we have made a profit. So there we have a little bit of different talking about the investment. Here we talk about cash flow. Let's take an example. A business is estimated to generate a net profit amounting 200,000 per year for the next 5 years. What is maximum purchase price for this business? In a 5-year horizon, using calculation rate or discounting rate, same thing here, 12%. So normally you would say, if you didn't take into consideration what time you receive the money, or you will not discount it, then you will say, well, 5 years, each one with 200,000, it's around 1 million. So if I pay 1 million, I will have a zero. But if I pay 900, I will have a profit of 100,000. However, we all know that many things can happen in 5 years, and that's why that we reduce the values when we take them down to net present value by this chosen rate, calculation rate of 12% per year. Now, this calculation rate is something that we have chosen. It's not the market rate. It's not something you look up. So in each company, you will see different strategy for choosing the calculation rate, but we can discuss that later. Now we're just looking at the example of calculating the net present value. And we can go in the formulas, and I can take the net present value here, or I can go down and say, you see, this is the most recently used. Can also go in the financial setup, and you saw there was a lot of formulas that Excel can work with, and in alphabetic order. And I am looking for the NV. net present value here. And I can say that the rate is 12% and value 1 is 200,000. Value 2. So here we have a possibility of saying, well, maybe the first year was 100,000 and then the second year was 200,000. So this is a variable payment for each period. I just need one more though, because I have only 4 years here, so I'll just put in an extra one, 200,000. So I'll just cut and put it down here. I know now that this business in net present value will give me around 721,000 kroner. And that's what the maximum purchase price I will pay for this business using the Excel formula of calculating the net present